This is funny. The gulf between reality and what gets written up is now mind-bogglingly wide. As I reported earlier, Xi Jinping's main theme at the big Congress this week was a wish for the Chinese people to be moderately prosperous by 2035. But that's not what's being reported. The FT tells the world that China's leader decided to steer the country towards collision with the West. That's completely false. Either the FT is just making stuff up, or every other reporter missed that part of the speech. You decide. Reuters' coverage was also pretty incredible. A third term for Xi Jinping would risk a Cold War, or even a hot one. Reuters journalists. There are countries famous for provoking wars, and there are countries famous for not provoking wars. Do some research. The New York Times is funny in a different way. It said that the Chinese leadership used to talk about opening up the economy, but skipped that topic this time. The implication is that the socialist government may be behaving in a somewhat socialist way, as if that's a shock. The same article then goes on to say that the topic of opening up the economy was featured 3 times in the Chinese leader's speech and 12 times in the written paper that went with it. So it clearly was not skipped then. When I wrote op-eds for the New York Times, they used to have editors who would check that the stuff made sense. But perhaps the most inaccurate summary of the event comes from The Guardian. The Guardian used to be a great paper that I admired. It was the first big famous paper to print one of my humble articles. But now, well, listen to their summary of the event in Beijing. Xi Jinping celebrated China's crushing of Hong Kong's autonomy and warned Taiwan that the wheels of history are turning towards Beijing, taking control of the island democracy. This is complete fiction, turning the Chinese into cartoon villains. Guardian staff, what happened to you? What was actually discussed at the meeting was the continuation of the miraculous journey, which is rescuing a community of women, men and children who until relatively recently were poorer than people in Africa into a moderately prosperous group of people who are working hard in the world's factory. That's the truth. Somebody once said that the truth is like the sun. It gets hidden from time to time, but the sun always comes back. Peace.